guys, Miss Carter here, and I'm here to talk to you about weather and more specifically air masses. So I know you're thinking to yourself, what in the world is an air mass? Well, an air mass is a large volume of air that's defined by two things, temperature and humidity. Now, humidity is just the amount of moisture that's inside of the air. Air masses are huge. They can cover over hundreds to thousands of square miles, and they typically adopt or take on the characteristics of the Earth's surface in which they cover. For example, air masses over large bodies of water such as the ocean are typically going to be more humid air masses, and air masses over large regions of land are typically going to be the drier air masses. Now, before we start talking about the four types of air masses that I want you to know, let's talk about how they're actually named. So, air masses are named after humidity and temperature. They are given two letters, a uppercase letter and a lowercase letter. The lowercase letter comes first, and this letter is going to tell you about the amount of humidity that's inside of that air mass. So, for example, first you have the maritime. Maritime is indicated by a lowercase m. The lowercase m tells you, and maritime means that it's formed over the water, so it's going to be a wet air mass. Then you have a continental air mass, and that is indicated by a lowercase c. The lowercase c tells you that it's formed over land, and this is going to be a dry air mass. Now, the second letter, your uppercase letter, is going to tell you the temperature of the air mass. So, you have polar. Polar is indicated by an uppercase P. The uppercase P tells you that this air mass was formed near the poles. So this air mass is going to be cold. Then finally, you have the tropical air mass, which is indicated by the capital T. The capital T tells you that it is formed near the tropics or the equator, and this air mass is going to be warm. So, maritime is over water and it's wet, continental is over land and it's dry, polar is over the poles and it's cold, and tropical is around the tropics and it's warm. Everyone with me? Okay, so let's start talking about the actual air masses that I want you to know. So the air masses can be divided into two groups. You have the cold air masses and the warm air masses. The cold air masses are what I'm going to start with. So we're going to start off by talking about the continental polar air mass. This is indicated by a lowercase c and an uppercase p. This air mass forms over northern Canada, and it has a large impact on the weather in the northeastern United States. So the lowercase p, again, tells you it's continental, so it's formed over the land and it's going to be a dry air mass. The uppercase P tells you that it's formed near the poles, and so it's going to be cold. So the continental polar air mass is going to be a dry, cold air mass. Now, the most important part that I want you to know is the type of weather that comes with it. So in a continental polar air mass, in the winter, you're going to have extremely cold weather. In the summer, it's going to be cool and dry. So the second cold air mass that I want to talk about with you is the maritime polar. This is indicated by the lowercase m and capital P. The lowercase m tells you that it's maritime, so it's formed over the water and it's going to be humid. The capital P tells you it's formed near the poles, so it's going to be cold. So the maritime polar air mass is going to be a humid, cold air mass. It affects weather in the northwestern United States. So in the winter, it brings rain and snow, and in the summer, it's a cool, foggy weather. Now, you can also see this type of air mass in the East Coast. So this is going to be formed in the North Atlantic Ocean. So you have maritime polar in the West Coast and as well as the East Coast. So in the East Coast in the winter, this type of air mass is going to be cold, cloudy weather with precipitation, and in the summer it's going to be cold weather with fog. Now, let's start talking about the warm air masses. So there's two. Let's start talking about the continental tropic. This is indicated by the lowercase c, uppercase T. The lowercase c, again, is continental, so you guessed it, is going to be a dry air mass. The uppercase T is going to tell you that it's formed near the tropics, and so it's going to be a warm air mass. These air masses are formed over the deserts of Mexico and southwestern United States. They bring clear, dry, hot weather in the summer. The last air mass that I want you to know is the maritime tropical air mass. This is indicated by the lowercase m, uppercase T. The lowercase m, again, is maritime, so as you can guess, it is formed over the water, and so it's a humid air mass. The capital T means it's coming from the tropics, so it's going to be warm. This is formed near the Gulf of Mexico and also the South Atlantic Ocean. So this in the summer is going to bring hot, humid weather along with hurricanes and thunderstorms. And in the winter, you're going to have mild and often cloudy weather. So those were the 4 air masses that I wanted you to know. Now, I want you to take a second and talk with your partners about this question. What type of air mass or air masses do you think affect the region in which we live? Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for my many, many bloopers. Bye! By 2 things. I don't know. An air mass. Well, an air mass air masses can be two things: temperature and humidity, or the amount of, what am I doing with this finger? Say hi.
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 Say we love science. Oh. Can you spell your name?
M-A-K-A-Y-O-A.
Yay! High five. Oh, come on.
Meow, 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 meow.
I just love.
Meow, meow. Meow. Meow.
Say hi. Hi. Now watch me whip. Watch me nay-nay. Watch me whip, whip. Watch me nay-nay. Watch me whip. Ooh, watch me, watch me. Ooh, watch me, watch me. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you learned a lot about air masses. Had a lot of fun. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.